13th Natchitoches Parish School Board meeting. Please silence all your cell phones and electronic devices that would interrupt the meeting. We have a very long agenda, and we spent 3 hours talking about that agenda on Tuesday night, and we hope to have come to some conclusions. Ms. Revels, can you do a roll call for us? Okay. Mr. Danzy will lead us in prayer, and Ms. Page will lead us with the pledge.
Pray with me, please. Lord, we thank you for this day and the many blessings that you've given us. We thank you for the system that you've provided for us, and we look for your blessing on everything we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Should you choose to speak to an agenda item, please complete the form in the back of the room. Pass it up to be recognized. Thank you. Ms. Revels?
Mr. Danzy?
Here.
Mr. Matoir?
Here.
Mr. Benefield?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Present.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Here.
Ms. Palmer?
Here.
Ms. Phelps?
Here.
Ms. Harvey? Here. Mr. Fredu?
On his way.
Mr. Nicholson?
Here.
And Ms. Page?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Okay. We had a very lengthy superintendent's report on Tuesday night, which was very informative. And any additions to it?
Yes, sir. We have, I'm going to say, the privilege tonight of having the Lakeview Lady Gators. They made it all the way to the championship game of the LHSAA tournament this year. I was there, as many of you were. That was a heck of a game. I was, I had my little watch telling me that my heart rate was getting too high or something like that. And I hope no one was around me because I was getting a little too intense. But they had an amazing season. I don't think it's over. I think next year they're going to be back at it because they got a young squad. But what Coach Fuller has done with that team, how he made them believe. And I was watching him on the sidelines too. And I don't know if I would have been able to keep my composure the way he did, but he represented Natchitoches Parish well as well. Because I probably would have been a little more vociferous with some of my complaints, but he's more of a professional. So we'd like to have Ms. Renters here, Coach Fuller's here, and his young ladies come up, and we want to recognize them for how well they represent Natchitoches Parish and how proud of them we are.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, and they're wearing their medals too, right? And I think we had someone who was named as a standout in the tournament.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, All-State. Timberland Washington was selected first team All-State.
Take a step.
We just want to say thank you guys. You know, the amount of support that we received this year was just tremendous. Thank you so much to our both our representatives. They made sure that y'all knew exactly what we needed, and y'all made it happen. So we really do appreciate everything that y'all done for us. We really feel that the school board is behind us 100%, and we're going to continue to try to build a program that represents you in such a way. Not only do these young ladies handle their business on the court, but right now, standing in front of you, 6 of these young ladies are 4.0 students.
Student athlete.
We have my 2 seniors that I have. I'm very proud of them. One will be attending Grambling on an academic scholarship. One will be attending ULM on an academic scholarship. We just thank y'all for all that y'all do, and we just pray that we get back and next year we can bring it on home.
Coach Fuller, can I say something? When Coach Fuller told me about the dream about the team, I remember the team when Annie Harris and Linda Grayson and all those were state champions, and when he told me what he planned to do, and I said, it's 5 years, and I believe it, but when I saw the team, they couldn't dribble basketball and they couldn't chew bubble gum at the same time at that particular time. And so I said, well, he believed a lot more than I believe. And the next year, because I don't think they won out a game that particular time, but the next year, they started competing. I'm like, he put his spirit in those kids to believe that they could win, and they believed that they could win, and they won. And we had a few minor, we didn't know we were going to compete as well as we competed, because everybody always trying to get what we got, amen. But we competed again this year, and I think that we are going to have a team year after year after year, as long as we have coaches that can breathe hope into our kids, student athletes.
I want to say how proud I am of you as Lakeview Gators, the heart that you played with when we were in Hammond, the tenacity that you showed on that court was like, oh my gosh, it was just phenomenal. I was, of course, wanting the next little level, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same token, I want you to know just how proud I am of you. But I also got to speak on Coach Fuller. He puts so much pressure on himself and wants to achieve that he can't even take the time to celebrate what he has achieved.
Amen.
So I want you to know just how much you've done. I want you to know the milestone that you've reached. I am so proud of you. And I'm so proud of what you've done with these young ladies. And I know that we will continue to grow, and I know you're going to reach it.
Yes, yes.
Right here, we'll get a quick picture. I'm going to act like I'm part of the team and I was part of this. Let's just get right here, and Miss Felicia's going to coach you.
Thank God for his coaching staff as well.
Yes, they have two coming in the door, Dr. Eloy.
Yeah, let's just wait 1 minute and we'll get them in the picture. No.
Oh, put him in the picture because we need money. Money!
Yeah,
Are you going to be able to get
ball
all
girl.
Come on, get in the picture.
Coach Fuller, I got something to say before y'all sit down. I'm late, I'm sorry.
All right. Gators on three. 1, 2, 3, Gators. All right, Mr. Frazier, got something to share with y'all?
Y'all may have covered it, I don't know, but the year before Coach Fuller took over, the girls won one game. They,
No, you go ahead because they may not have believed me. You go ahead.
the program won one game. The year after that, they made the first round of the playoffs, and every year since, they've made at least the quarterfinals. Coach Fuller got over 100 wins this year in less than 4 years, and that's a pretty big accomplishment. And I've heard some of the girls themselves say they couldn't dribble a basketball before they got to work with him. So, attitude reflects leadership, so that all comes from Coach Fuller, and I do expect a state championship trophy next year. So.
He was at more games than I was.
All right, well, thank y'all so much. We really appreciate it. And again, we're going to see y'all back here in a year. So thank y'all again.
Good job, ladies.
So just 3 quick items, very quick items. I spoke to the mayor and the mayor's wife the other day. They are putting something together called the Mayor's Youth Council. And they have a really, really cool idea that would affect us here at the school board. They have on the Mayor's Youth Council, they came up with the idea of they would like to talk to us about the idea of a student board member. Now, what that actually looks like legally, obviously there'd have to be a discussion, but my idea was that they may give a monthly report. And then they can sit in one of the front rows and do that. But they want to talk to us about their idea and what that would look like. So any of you board members who are interested, Monday at 6:15 at the city council chambers, I'm going to be there. And any of you who want to join us and discuss this this very early idea that they have, but when I talked to the mayor and his wife, I just said, well, yeah, that's a no-brainer. That sounds awesome. So,
We've had that in the past, many years ago.
well, good deal.
It was a student, they call a liaison.
Well, awesome. So I look forward to if some of y'all want to join that, but open invitation, 6:15, and I can shoot a text to y'all to remind you on Monday. Also, we want to remind everyone, I think Ms. Kanika brought around the cake sign-up sheet, because before the next meeting in May, we will have Teacher Appreciation Week, which will be that first week of May, correct, Ms. Kanika?
Second week.
Second week of May, I'm sorry. So actually, we'll be in between meetings, yes. And we look forward to that, and anything else that anyone in the community, whether you represent a business and different things like that, who want to participate in teacher appreciation. I know the principals reach out a lot. We are just thankful that we have such a community that supports our staff, and we look forward to speaking about some of those initiatives that they did. I think last year we had some taco weeks, and I think one school had a massage therapist come out, and we'll share all that with you next month. And then finally, I do want to remind those, especially those watching, we April 29th is our early voting's going on now, but April 29th will be the vote. We have 3 measures on the ballot. There's a 7 mil dedicated millage for District 8, one for District 9, which is the city district, and then also a parish-wide vote. These are votes that go directly to our kids, and we just encourage everyone to get out to vote, because again, these are renewals. Renewals.
There's nothing new here.
Nothing new here. And 10-year renewals, which is very much boilerplate activity. So that being said, Mr. Benefield, that is my superintendent report for this week.
Superintendent Eli, thank you. Board members, any comments on the superintendent report? Okay. I'd like to take the consent agenda.
I will offer.
Second.
We have an offer by Reverend Harris, a second by Ms. McGaskey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passed. We received the informational report. We do have one additional item. Ms. Hicks said she was going to have, that was
Mr.
in
Benefield,
finance.
You have 2 additional items on the
Okay.
informational.
All right, good.
Well, good afternoon, evening.
Afternoon.
Okay, so sales tax, it's gonna be pretty easy. Come up here. We're gonna go, once again, to the last few pages. And, let's see, this one says distribution, yes, here's what, okay. In the month of March, our sales taxes were down 5.06%. However, for the July through March, you'll notice that we were at 8.28%, but now we're cumulative for the year from July to the end of March, we were at 6.78% growth. So we're still, now we have in the budget 5% growth, so we're still good. There is if you'll notice the motor, a lot of this is in the motor vehicle collections. You'll see 348,000 last year and 284 this year.
So get out and buy a car.
So get out and buy a car, yeah. So motor vehicles was a good portion of that. So, and that's it, pretty much for the sales tax. Were there any other questions about sales taxes? That was pretty much
The sources, and I'm probably so blue, besides officer motor vehicles and.
It's just parish-wide. Any 2.5, of all the sales tax you pay parish-wide, you pay 2.5% of it comes to us. 1% goes to the salaries that we call the sales tax check, and the other 1.5% goes to the general fund.
Okay.
Mr. Wascom, do you not also have the next item? The audit report?
Yes, I do. Going to the legislative auditor, it's not on here, so I'm just gonna, so we backs up on the screen. Legislative auditor is making it a requirement that the business manager report monthly on the status of any audit findings. All right, so there are two basic audit findings that were found, that were reported to us in, I think, our January meeting. One has technically been ongoing for years, and it's basically cash management at the school level.
Student activity funds.
Right.
Tickets.
And we are pushing hard. Today, I was at Natchitoches Central. We're converting all concessions to cashless. We're installing the point of sale system, getting all that done. So we'll ring up everything. Once that's all in place, we're going to do likewise at Lakeview. And then, so pretty much the high schools will be at that point cashless. Obviously, Natchitoches Central gets audited every year. But it is a problem. It's been a problem. Roger Cunningham told me when I first got here, it's always been a problem.
Yeah.
All right, so it's almost a finding we have every year. So I think going cashless, people getting into the athletic events have y'all been able to use the GoFan thing yet?
Yeah.
Well, that will be improved even next year to where you can actually go up and pay with a credit card on site. We were having some connectivity problems.
Right.
You can still buy it on your cell phone, but at Natchitoches Central, we're having cell phone signal issues. So we bought repeaters to get all that fixed. We bought 3 repeaters. 2 at Natchitoches
Also, we're
Central,
having
1
lack of technology features too.
Lack of what?
People, attendees having lack of technology.
Right. Right. Because we did have a lot of, especially I think
Grandparents show up, yeah.
I think we missed a whole lot of people who were
hurts.
trying to get there. Yeah, and I think again it had to do with knowledge of technology.
Adding that card reader is made, we've done
Absolutely.
it at Lakeview this year. and that
Absolutely.
made-
Yeah.
So, Mr. Wascom, have you built your bank at Natchitoches Central yet?
No, we haven't taken it out. It's a lot of specs in there. I just want to make sure we get it right. We haven't built the bank there. Next thing would be the finding that we had a significant increase in one fund. It was ESSER 2. It had to do with summer school, that we had not done a budget adjustment. So I would like to wait until the August meeting to look back at where we ended and this is what DeSoto Parish does. A lot of the parishes out there, they'll wait until August, look back, do a minor budget adjustment because of summer school. It can be a significant amount of money. It was $4.2 million, I think, in total expenses when you include transportation, payroll, food service, and all the other stuff that went on. And now we have 10 locations, I think, this year versus six or 7 last year. So it may even be more significant. So I will get some preliminary ideas, but I'm looking to do an August budget adjustment so we can fix that problem. And that is common. I talked to legislative auditors, and they are okay with it as well down in Baton Rouge. So that is good. That's pretty much it. Those are the 2 findings. Now, another thing is we're being warned about on a couple of pages later. That's on page 63 and 64 of your audit. We're being warned about
Trainings.
ethics, particularly ethics trainings. So we have now, as of Ramona Winder, initiated everything as of
My ethics training today.
yeah.
Off the email.
All employees get
I
an
saw it.
email where you can then click on it and get your 3 primary things you have to be trained on yearly. Well, no,
Depends on so 3 for everyone, but then some, like if you're a nurse, you may have to do bloodborne pathogens, things of that nature. But the basic one is bullying, ethics, and sexual harassment.
right. So this is called school, what's it called?
Vector Solutions.
Right. I looked at it.
Got it.
I got it. I just didn't.
Okay, so that's going out to everybody, and Ramona will keep sending friendly reminders.
About the
if you haven't
15th?
taken- What's
I
that?
think it's May the 15th that is due.
So now when the auditors look for our data on that, we just simply send them probably an Excel spreadsheet.
We'll send a list of all, and right, we'll send of the confirmation that they've all taken their tests.
Yep.
This is just letting y'all know this is coming down, and we were warned about it. It wasn't an audit finding. So there is a difference. So that's it. That concludes that informational report.
Thank you, Mr. Wascom. Board members, any questions for Mr. Wascom or anything on the informational reports? Mr. Shirley, anything to add? Ms. Page, anything to add? Great.
Wait a minute.
Why,
We have to.
while you're here,
Gotta approve
Well,
what?
that's Ms. Hicks's items.
yeah, but that's in finance.
No, this is the, for the
Okay, well, no, let's take that during finance. Yeah, we're gonna have to add it anyway. I don't see it on the agenda. Okay, Ms. Tankia.
Finance, facilities, services, and insurance. Item A, request to advertise for food, paper, milk, and cleaning product bids. Ms. Hicks.
A second.
We have an offer by Mr. McTwire and a second by Reverend Harris for this agenda item. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Ms. Palmer, can we interject at this point and suspend our rules and add an addition, one agenda item, which is our surplus equipment auction, which will be conducted.
It should be a motion to declare these items listed as surplus.
Okay, we need to add the agenda item first. And that's okay. So that motion is to add an agenda item. I'll make that offer. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Danzy. All in favor of adding this agenda item, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda item is added, and that agenda item, Mr. Wascom, should state what?
Motion to approve, the
Auction.
given.
Wait, she's going to catch up.
Oh, I'm gonna need a minute, cause I got to back out and put that in, but I'm just waiting so I can go ahead and type it in.
Okay.
To declare the items listed on the page given to y'all as surplus and to be auctioned off on May
So-
6th.
So we hadn't already declared them surplus?
You've declared the bus, some pieces of it, but these numbers were just gathered today. They're
Okay.
Still picking this
Okay, I
up.
just wanted to make sure.
We wanted to attach a serial number to what y'all were declaring.
Right, right.
We want to say.
Great.
We've already declared everything that we had on site. This is the things that we actually went and retrieved from the school.
Okay,
Okay.
There will be this and other items.
good. That's good stuff.
Ms. Rebels, when you are caught up with us and ready to
I
move
need
forward.
somebody to clarify that motion a little bit better for me, please.
Motion to approve selected items as surplus for May 6th school board auction.
Sounds good. Held at the warehouse. What time will that auction be?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. starting. Bring your trailer.
Which, as Ms. Kanika's doing that, I will tell you, we've talked to Ms. Parrish. She will be putting something out, but also the auctioneer has already spoken with the local journal, and they'll be pushing it as well because they obviously want to have a successful auction. So there'll be multiple postings.
Multiple zero turns, small tractors, all kinds of items.
Are we leaving any mowers at the schools, or is this all of it? Because I know that is the only one at Marthaville, right? Has it been picked?
We're keeping some at our warehouse for instances if we need.
Okay, fair enough.
Also, your particular situation is your athletic facility is mowed by a private individual. It's the only one we have like that.
Right.
All our other schools, they're mowed by our custodial staff.
Yep.
Like in Natchitoches Central, we've left 0 turns.
What's left at Lakeview?
2 0 turns and the big tractor with the front end loader.
Oh, yeah.
That was a request from your
Big John Deere.
guy, the big tractor.
Yeah, that way the ag department can use it as well.
Okay.
Okay. B.
Well, we still have to move on this.
Oh.
When we do this, Ms. Palmer, she has to insert this in the board docs, so it takes a little time. That's why I want to do it now instead of at the end.
Usually, I think you got to refresh to be able
Yeah,
to see.
it's not there yet. I'll let you know when it's there.
And it appears all these items, anybody can bid on them, right?
I would say the exception would be me, Mr. Wascom, and Mr. Shirley, and
And probably board
board
members.
members, yeah.
That's the reason I asked, board members.
Board members can vote on it, because I remember one time, bid on it,
Really?
because it's surplus stuff and it's not, not benefit.
Especially if it's high bid.
It's all gonna be fair to the auctioneers, not
Yeah.
gonna even know that you're.
Even if I'm allowed, I'm not. there won't be an Eloy winning a bid on.
You don't need a tractor.
We can actually.
Love that.
You don't want to buy the John Deere that's not running?
Used to do this, say, the board member.
No, I want the one that's been sitting out in the
Can I check
weather.
for y'all. I can call.
It's good to know, because I mean, they got things on here that I could use, probably. I never
I'll
laid
call.
eyes on them, but
I'll call Hammonds and Geis tomorrow and
I
get
know
y'all an
we
answer
used
on
to
that.
could be it on them when they used to have them
I
before.
might get shot.
A lot of law change.
I imagine it's going to be well attended. There's going to be some folks interested in this.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I already-
Mr. Wascom, say one of those buses that's non-operational does not sell. Are we then, without a vote, allowed to move that to surplus scrap? Yeah. Okay.
That is, once you go to the auction site and you're unable to sell it, you can then scrap it for metal.
Good deal.
See, all these zero turns, these guys, especially these people, these lawn equipment, they're gonna be buying them for parts and stuff.
Yeah.
They're nice machines.
Some of them are very, very.
Well, and even a bus that's not operational, a cam, something like that. You know?
Especially all these John Deere.
Are we doing anything to make sure the equipment we have left
Some
doesn't
like
get in
full-size
this
bars,
condition?
they'll cut like some of it out and.
Here's the good thing about that, it's gonna be minimal equipment.
Okay.
Most of it will be housed, other than ball field motors,
Right.
at our warehouse.
Okay.
We're trying to, so we're keeping two at the warehouse to plug a hole if something comes up. Like something breaks, we can take one of the warehouse zero turn, which never had zero turn, and move it. So we've kept several.
And we've kept, one of the small tractors.
Mine don't be.
Is there a certain company that, is sold to the leftover items that are not purchased? You say sell scrap metal?
It's mine's not refreshing.
Mine's moving very slow.
Yeah, mine's not refreshing.
Interest in them, so if it comes down to it, and they do go for scrap, we could actually ask them, you know, won't you give us one for scrap? So, I mean, we could actually open it up if we needed to.
Okay, that was,
All right, hold on, Ms. Kanika.
Okay, I backed all the way out, and
It's on there.
okay, I see it
Hey,
now.
Megan,
oh, yeah, that's it. I see it.
yeah, I see suspend the rules.
Okay.
Is this,
Okay.
is there something else that's going up here?
Says
There
approved.
should be one right under.
Discuss C, you got C.
Ah, got it. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, Ms. Revels.
And this is on suspension of the rules, right?
We'd already voted for it. That was Mr. Danzy, and I have made a motion, Mr. Danzy seconded.
Okay, let me
To
put.
suspend in the rules.
C.
Okay, let me put that one in, I'm sorry.
And that was all favorable.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Do we have a motion for that?
We did.
We
For
do,
the approving the surplus?
we do.
Can you give me those? Who?
Yes, sir. Mr. McTwire and Reverend Harris.
Okay. Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Matwire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefiel?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Fredo?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you for your patience. Ms. Palmer, I hate to interrupt your report. Go ahead, ma'am.
Oh, that's fine. D, discuss and consider salary schedule for 2023, Mr. Wascom?
Yes, 2023, 2024.
We gotta have a motion in a second.
Well, let's move that to D. If you refresh your screen, it moves down to D.
If I,
I'll offer.
Second.
We have an offer by Reverend Harris and a second by Ms. Phelps.
So all we did was we made those changes that y'all suggested at the meeting. One was for Mr. Kozad to do the proper name, and the other was after talking to Ms. Page about the it's the Teacher of the Year stuff.
Wasn't there something about an athletic director too?
Yeah. well,
Yes, he
I'll
changed
show-
the from NCHS to.
Got us a nice, pretty cover. So I changed that. But this is what the new cover looked. I was going to try to make each year a different cover so you could easily recognize what year
You
you're
feel
in.
good about that?
All right, yeah. Okay, so if you'll notice on this page, IT, the name of support specialist was changed. That was one of the changes. All right, coordinators. Now, once again, if you will look at, here it is. See, it's 1.27. This used to be 1.22, and this coordinator down here
Mr.
was
Watson,
1.27.
Sorry to interrupt you. We shared this information. There was only 3 items that we had to change from
Right.
last.
Okay. No Republic, and then drama.
Did we highlight those?
Okay, so
It was this teacher of the year, principal. We added principal of the year on both. You'll notice where it says regional. That's actually the school site. So when they're nominated for that, everyone who's nominated out of school, Ms. Page, tell me if I'm correct, will get this for regional. Now, if they win from there, it's not saying they won state. It means they went to the next round. Correct? Or is that incorrect?
Okay, so there's a representative from each school. And then there's a district winner.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe we will have a regional winner, yes.
So what we did is, so every one of those school representatives will get the 150. If they get, the one who gets the district will get the 150 and the 300. We did not put something if they won state. We'll have to figure that out in a special called meeting.
That's true.
From Hickson.
Yeah, so if that
What
does
am I
occur,
saying?
we'll bring that to y'all.
Yeah, I don't think we
one
can top that.
change that we,
Well, that's all good.
do y'all remember performance pay that we changed this last time? We did make this change here. Performance pay, we just says pending because we hadn't sorted it out because it's
And you,
gonna be on a, what y'all call it, VAM? It's gonna be based on
all that.
It'll be changed later, so we hadn't sorted that out, so we're gonna change that later. So we just said pending. Okay, so Coach, right here it says junior high schools. It was at Natchitoches Central. We just took it off and made it junior high school.
I have a question about that. So with Lakeview being the junior high there, that athletic director, will they have control over that junior high?
More than so.
Donna.
What?
They're under the same principal?
Yeah, but what we did with this is this person as the district person, what they ended up doing really in terms of everyone was they scheduled games for the league. But no, the AD this AD won't have power to tell the AD at Lakeview what to do with their junior high kids or anything like that. This is just really someone to
Scheduling.
scheduling is the main thing.
We had a
Scheduling and
problem
some
with that.
equipment.
in the
Correct.
past.
Right.
Yeah, and advocating for them as well. So.
Okay.
And that's it. We had the long-term substitute teacher certified.
Okay, I have a request. You know, Tuesday I asked about the MLP money, the check between December and February. I need some clarification on, first I asked 2 questions about, did we have to vote on that, and did we vote on that? I got a third one, was it discussed? Can somebody like come back and bring and clarify how that money was put in the salaries, that I would know how to explain to our employees that's texting and calling me? Because the only thing I can tell them is that it was put into their salaries, into the new salary schedule. But that's all I can say. I can't tell how I voted. I can't tell them how it was discussed. And
Can we, excuse me,
go ahead.
can we just have that the part of our, from our minutes when we did it?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we can get that for you. And just anecdotally, I can tell you that was when we voted on the first iteration of this salary schedule last year. It was, the discussion was lumped in that we were voting in that in totality as part of it.
Because I,
And we can go back to that, and we'll have to find the date of the board meeting. And
March.
yeah, I believe it was March. So March of 22, we'll have to review those, and we can send you all the YouTube and the length of the discussion.
Yes, if I may clarify that, it's not in the minutes.
I'm sorry, yes, the YouTube.
It's in the live video.
Yeah.
Or, no, not live, but it's in the video. It's not in the minutes because it was not specifically part of the motion, and that's the only thing that's gonna be in the written minutes.
So where?
So we would actually have to go back to the broadcast of that meeting and replay it.
Can I add something
To
here
find
for a
that.
Second. I think what she's asking and looking for her clarification, teachers want to know how they see it on their payroll.
Right.
paycheck
That's
stub.
at the
That's what they're
end of the
looking
day.
for.
Yeah,
That's what they're looking for.
That's what
So-
those teachers been asking me.
Yes, I think.
Cause they
At
don't
the
see
end of the
it.
day.
But I still wanna know.
Whether
did
it's in
we-
their
Were we supposed to vote on it? I mean, we voted on it because it was thrown in there, but I just don't remember a discussion about it, and I know we would have discussed that, because I would have voted against that.
So I believe,
Major discussion
I-
about it either.
I believe 100% that type of item has to go before y'all.
Yeah.
The way it was done is it was lumped in with the overall passage of the salary schedule, and that is perhaps why memories are fuzzy on it, because it was part of a kind of a omnibus type situation.
Right, because we discussed it before. I know Lee was adamant in putting it in there, and I did talk to him about it. I felt like we would be getting these calls.
So I think what we'd have to do, I mean, I don't know how we'd have to get with Chad, and he'd have to show like how it's inserted in and what.
Which line item on the check is?
Yeah, and how much is
It
per.
was just added to the base pay.
If we could just get the pay and have it by pieces, so that it adds up.
Okay, so what we did was we determined how much pay, based on the savings and other things we were doing, becoming efficient. I determined how much pay everybody would get, and I added $583 to it. That's what I did.
Right, well,
It came up with a new number.
yeah, if you give them that breakdown and then divide it by 3 months.
However the line item is listed.
It's not a separate line item, it's
Well,
just, I
that's-
just changed the base pay to the new number.
That's what I thought,
okay.
that there's not a line item, but if you put it all together,
You can
you
differentiate.
could differentiate.
Just an
between it.
example
Yeah,
of something
example.
for them to see.
So, Ms. Palmer, would you be able sometime next week to come by and?
After 3:30.
Yeah, no, we're still here.
Until 4:30.
And Mr.
I'll stay
Wascom can, we can get what you need to make sure it's exactly in the way that you want to see it.
And you'll have to take one person
Yeah.
to do that, not with a name on it, but just.
Yeah, redact the name.
I like to get,
It's not, but once again, I want y'all, it doesn't represent a separate line items as MFP money. It's just rolled into the base pay.
After the meeting, if y'all just tell Mr. Wascom a day that y'all two are available, we can make that happen.
And next week's wide open.
you know, I can work with you.
And even at, what you say, 580,
$583.
that's about
that's not
$48 a month. Well, that's, but tax come out of that, don't it?
Yeah.
So.
It may not show.
But did y'all give
Most time, you're not
everybody?
going to see
Really
that
see a
$48
difference.
on your paycheck, and then everybody didn't get the $580. Some of them
Right,
didn't
that's
get
what
the
I'm saying,
$300.
200, yeah,
So
some
that
of them got less.
$300 divided by 12, that's,
Right.
about, $15 about $20 a
Paycheck?
paycheck a month.
Right.
So,
And then-
average insurance have went up. And,
Yeah,
so
so you really don't see the
It was
difference.
eating
you don't
up.
see the difference.
It was eating up, but their thing is they want to be able to see it.
They saw that, they
It's
got
like
that lump sum
Houdini,
payment.
once you
and
saw
some-
it, it was like, but Mr. Wascom,
Yes.
what was the advantage of doing that?
Well, first of all, the money is handed to us to be doled out monthly.
That's right.
Okay, so if you hand it out at one time, let's say you quit in December, you were owed 4 months of September, October, November, December. You were owed 4 months of that pay, and you don't get paid because you're not here in January. Okay, let's say you're here in January, but you quit in January. We prepaid you for February, March, April, May, and June. So it doesn't make sense. Now, a stipend works. You just say, here's a one-time payment or whatever it is. But it doesn't make sense.
Upon completion.
Upon completion of that work, right. But it doesn't make sense to take money that was supposed to be doled out.
Right.
But I know what happened is the governor probably passed it late in the year. And 12, 13, 15 years ago, whenever
It only
it
takes
started.
one time to become a.
And the board handed it out gladly as a one-time payment.
So it's
It
nothing,
became a tradition, and it just became a tradition.
so there's no way you could put like a stipulation on it?
What do you
Like,
mean?
if they get hired in January?
Okay, so can you imagine 1,000 employees trying to manage that this one quit on December, and this one quit in
do it.
November, and these 3 quit in September, and they get this portion, and these people.
It does
They need
become
to do a
cumbersome.
Callback if they quit in March, and it's just so hard to manage. If you pay them this money month by month by month,
But they don't see it. Then their insurance went up. It's like, I'm gonna be honest, like, from what I understanding from them, they don't see a difference with this new salary schedule. Like,
like no.
cause the insurance went up on them also, so
Well, now this,
You really don't see it.
But that is, with the insurance
But it's a
going
lot
up,
of-
that's not, we can't do nothing about it.
It's not payroll.
unfunded, that's,
Yeah,
but I'm still saying they still don't see a difference.
Well, but what they would have seen without it though would have been a pay decrease.
Well, it also reduces the payroll from 15 to 14 too, because you got 12 payroll runs and 2 tax checks, so you go from 15.
Right.
Another one in January.
Right.
That would have been, so it goes, so that does help the district, but the bigger thing is that, like Mr. Wascom says, if you're here, you earn it. If you're not, you don't. So it's, you know,
I definitely understand why, because I always want to know the why. Why did it happen that way?
It just needed to be on a 12-month schedule. That's how. But that was, and it is a tradition from the past. And it probably got passed, like I said, 15 years ago, and it was just
But
became
as those
tradition.
people retire, it does make a difference. Every dime makes a difference, right?
Yeah, like for instance, if you retired in before Christmas, you never saw that money. And you now the interesting thing is like sales tax money. If you quit in August or September and you don't, when we pay out in December, we go back and credit you for them. We do that because that's how that program is written, the number of days worked in the year. But we didn't do that with that MFP money, and it just wasn't. It's not fair to people.
That was a real rush job by the legislature. I remember it.
And back, yeah, right. And it was and they know better than to do stuff to school boards dead center in the middle of the year because the payroll functions are just a pain.
don't care.
and actually,
I know they don't care.
$580 was just for teachers, it wasn't for support people, and then we came and,
That's right.
giving all the support people, we give them $300,
Yeah.
but we don't get that from MFP. All we get is for the teachers, but we
Where
was
is that
kind enough
$300 coming from?
out of general fund.
General fund.
Oh, I remember that. I
So-
sure did.
Remember that?
We still gave them the credit of the 300.
I remember we did that.
Yeah, we still included the 300, but that was general fund.
That was out of general fund, that wasn't from MFP.
Gave it to everybody. We
So-
gave that 300 and something.
How long y'all did that? Y'all was doing that up until the
Probably 10
change,
years.
giving them the
They
$300?
still get it. When they first came out with the governor give them that MFP money, well, we said, well, stated just teachers get it. We was gonna give out of general fund the support people the $300
Because we had a lot of folks who were upset.
that they wasn't gonna get.
I remember that. You're right, you're right.
Okay, any further discussion on that item? And so the closure on this is, we're gonna provide a link to the YouTube.
Yeah, I'll find the, give me some time because it's sometimes difficult to listen to 3 hours of our discussion. In this case, 6 hours because it may have been brought up in committee.
Yeah,
and-
because we probably got down in it.
Yeah, so let me find that for us and I'll send y'all the links to it. And then also Ms. Palmer and Ms. McGaskey will meet with Mr. Wascom offline sometime next week, which I'll leave to those three to.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this line item.
I hope so. We already did it, didn't you?
Yeah, it's already been done, but for clarification, is the motion to simply approve the salary schedule changes effective for July 1 of 2023? Is that,
Oh, I'm sorry. Did y'all, thank you for saying that. So we said this was effective July 1, but someone did discuss the idea of making the teacher and principal awards
That would be a
This year.
separate.
retroactive.
This year.
that'd be,
We need to include that in the motion, though.
Well, that's an addition, but that's an additional function to this. That's like a
Just an-
separate piece. That goes on to this last year's. That piece gets added to the 22-23
Yeah.
version.
we're not talking about a whole lot of money. I guess the question though, is that okay, Mr. Wasco?
Yes, it's fine. I think that's fine.
It'll be retroactive to when?
Do we have to?
the
For
one
this year.
that is
This year.
I would like to vote on the salary schedule and then immediately
Yeah,
bring back
yeah.
up the other. I guess we're going to have to
So
break
we'll be
procedure
wondering
again.
what we did 6 months from now.
Amen. Kind of a
Ms.
little-
Kanika, what makes the most sense on your stuff?
We don't want to mix it up like we did.
We'll be having this discussion next March.
What makes the most sense to me? 7A. It's whatever, I mean.
Okay, let's vote on this, and then we'll add it. Can we add it to next month's agenda and make it clean?
Yeah, there's no rush on this.
I think's not.
Yeah.
No one's gonna spoil. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Matoir? Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Fredo?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, item E, discuss and consider Roy O. Martin ITEP non-compliance plan.
That's correct.
I'll offer.
Second.
Well, doesn't it have to be,
Okay, wait.
has to be the action with it?
Wait, we gotta define what this
define it.
motion, what motion you are offering. Define that, please.
We gonna have to be the one who say either we not gonna take an action.
I move that we take no action.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have an offer by Ms. Phelps, a second from Ms. Page, is that correct? To take no action on this line item. And-
So if
and-
we would take action, what, they would have to pay money back, or what, that was the option?
They either pay money back or you can shorten the term of the
Something
5-year
in
agreement.
between, yeah.
Several different, I think about 8 different things.
They different, 'cause they really didn't say what option, you know, he.
It's totally up to
Up
y'all.
to the
He told us
board.
all what they were doing, but they didn't say what option.
There's like
They had to
10 of
pay
them.
Money back, or.
It's like 10 options, and it's just,
And really, the state group on this, she said, we list these 10 options, but she said you can almost come up with anything under the sun as long as it's not charge them $1 million when that wasn't part of the agreement to begin with, you know?
And this is what I would say about the whole thing. There's gonna be others that come before us, so we need to set a precedent that whatever we do for one, I think we might do it for all of them,
To be fair.
especially under the circumstance.
and that COVID year,
That's what I'm
that COVID year changed the world.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
COVID
the
years.
circumstances that all of these people, even us, face, we need to make sure that we do it in a way that's fair to everybody.
Okay, the motion is on the table to take no action in the way of penalty or any other form of action against this Roy O. Martin. I'd like to do a roll call vote on this, Ms. Rebels.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Matoir?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Oh, yes. I was trying to see who was beside me.
Somebody check Emil's heart.
Mrs.
Well,
McGaskey?
well, it ain't their fault, you know, that's one reason I voted you.
Still, is it still beating?
That's why I love you. You fair about all of it.
I know all y'all thought I was
Mrs.
gonna vote no.
McGaskey? We did. Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Fredo?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Get it out.
Oh.
Got him all outlooked.
Item F, discuss and consider subdivision of Old Clutcherville school property, creating a school bus turnaround area.
I'll offer.
Second.
Okay. From Davis Surveying, this is the property. Do you see this 1.44 acres? I told you it was 2.44 acres, Emil. It's 1.44 acres. This goes all the way down into Cane River. But right here, as you come into the property, this has all been gravelled, and we've put up lights so that even if it's dark, it's a nice drop-off turnaround area. Gravel is the old crushed content from the concrete of the school. It is very nice looking now. And so what we're trying to do here is to subdivide it to where we keep that 1.44 acres, and we can then sell off the 14.83 acres. So yeah, if y'all understand what I'm trying to accomplish here, I'm about to bring before y'all about 25 pieces of property to sell. And this would allow us to free this property up to subdivide it. And so in another function of this motion would be to allow Dr. Eloy to sign as owner. If y'all will notice, it says right here, the owner has to sign for it. So it's giving him permission to sign on behalf of the school board right there. So I guess we need to read the motion, right? Did we? The motion was in there.
It did not include that statement, though.
No, but that she was listing the subject. I actually had written out a motion.
Am I on the right?
Yeah, it does. It says Dr. Yeah.
It does say it, I'm sorry, it does.
A motion to approve subdivision of Clutcherville School as an attached copy, creating a new school bus turnaround of 1.44 acres, and approve Dr. Eloy to sign on behalf of the Natchitoches Parish School Board as owner on the attached document to be filed at the clerk of court's office. Now, once this is done, we can then sell off the rest of the property, which I hear Mr. McTwire says there's a lot of interest in.
That's the actual motion.
That's the
Actually,
actual
I don't
motion.
know as if did anyone offer that?
No, they
I don't think
That's
so.
the actual motion. I intended to have it here. 'Cause
Well,
For the
Ne-
motion by Mr. Wascom.
okay.
I'll second.
We have an offer by Mr. McTwire and a second by Reverend Harris. Okay. Mr. Wascom, any further discussion? Board members, any
Did y'all have-
questions?
Did y'all have any further, no, do y'all have any further discussion? I pretty much described it as fairly simple.
1.44 is all we
Mainly that's
need.
for down there where the
pretty low.
buses, cause,
They-
down it,
Sir?
down where the buses, they
In front of
pick
Clutcherville
up
School.
down south, they pick up all the
Yeah,
kids.
I saw
Then
that.
they come where the old Clutcherville site and let off the high school kids, get on the bus that's coming to Natchitoches, and then the other one that goes to Provençal.
So they sort of use this as a hub.
Yeah.
They bring all the schools, they transfer amongst the buses, and then based on where you're going, whether you're going to Provençal, Natchitoches Central, wherever you're going, this is the hub. So it's not just a bus turnaround, it is actually a hub. It's well lit too. We put up several poles with night lights. So it's really well lit up. It looks really nice.
And
I
that's
mean-
to keep up from all the buses coming to Natchitoches, or all the buses got to go to Provençal and then come to Natchitoches. That's the reason they do it like that.
It's lit up for safety. That was one of the biggest things Emil was insisting on when we were preparing this.
You said 25 pieces of property?
That's coming in the future, yes, ma'am. I've still got that's not a part of this. And what I'm trying to do is quarantine off the 14.83 acres so that I can offer that in the future as something to sell.
Okay,
We have to get it appraised. Michelle Jordan is still appraising all the property. She told me she's wrapping that up. But it's taken a while.
Ms. Revels, do a roll call vote, please.
Sure. Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. McTwire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Fradu?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
That concludes finance.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Danzy.
If I can get my page here. 6A, discuss and consider amending policies GBRH and DJD concerning out-of-state travel. I'll offer that motion.
Second.
Okay, and I just made the one update that Ms. Phelps, I think it's on the second form, about the insurance piece, the minimum state.
State limits.
Yeah, that's the only change I made since Tuesday.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Item 6B, consider a study of alternative schedules, calendars for 2023 and 2024.
I'll offer.
Second?
Offer by Reverend Harris, second by Ms. Palmer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Whatever's next. I got discuss and consider amending
change, I
Natchitoches
think.
magnet sites code status, and I'll offer that motion.
Second.
We have an offer by Mr. Danzy and a second by Reverend Harris to make
Probably let
magnet
them
school.
second because y'all been on this long.
All right, y'all go ahead.
Before we vote on that, we had a clarification that we wanted to talk about earlier.
Yes, ma'am. So what Ms. Page asked me was when we talk about performance pay moving forward, which, as you know, we just spoke about it, that calculator will be changing. It'll actually probably change 2 years in a row, and that's more information than you probably want. But during that time, I want to be very adamant, very clear that magnet teachers will be subject or privileged, or however you want to say it, to the same structure, the same formula as every other school. This change here will not affect their performance pay in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So, is it?
It does. I had a few teachers who were concerned about that, and I just wanted to make sure that that was clarified for them.
Yes, ma'am. There's no issue there. And let me also, one more quick item with this. Just board be aware, if you do end up voting in the affirmative of this, this is a process, and I will keep you aware of the process, but there's some T's crossed, I's dotted with the LDOE that we have to do, and it will not be something that is like a day or 2 day turnaround. So,
So that, just for my sake, and for the teachers who are teaching those magnet school students where their scores are looking to go back to their district, they'll still be able to get these rewards.
correct.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They will be full NPSB employees with all the privileges that entails, just like if they were at Central or Lakeview or anywhere else.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion, board members? We'll take item C as a roll call vote.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Matoir?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Fredo?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Item D, discuss and consider amendments to CIR incentive and relocation incentive programs. Do we want to take these singular or together?
I feel like they're together. but-
Together? That's
I'll
what
offer.
I do too.
Second.
And I only made one change on this based on Mr. Benefield's request on that third, keep going down. It said 3 years before, but because of the changes and things, it says teacher must remain at the same CR school for the entirety of that school year to get the yearly payment. So, Ms. Page, did you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Now I'm looking for it.
Oh, it's down.
No, she's right.
Yeah.
INITIAL instead of initial.
Misspelling. Yeah. Or just missed a I.
All right.
Do we want a roll call vote on this one?
I think we should.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Matoir?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Fredo?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
That concludes executive report.
Mr. Matoir, do you have a message for us?
I want to say something just for,
Okay.
I just want to say one thing. I'm just thankful for this board working through some things behind the scene so that we won't have a scene. Thank you all so much for that.
That's a good way to put it.
And I'm sorry, because I know everyone's ready to adjourn, but real quick, and I think this can be done offline as well, and I don't believe it requires a vote because it's at the pleasure of the president. We did discuss the security.
We have the names.
Oh, perfect.
We have the names. Ms. Phelps is Reverend Harris, Ms. Harvey, Ms. Page have all decided to help us.
Awesome.
If you have not signed up for cake delivery for Teacher Appreciation Week and you would like to do so, please see me as soon as the meeting is over. Thank you.
Move we adjourn.
I second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Hey, did y'all ever?